Hi everyone, Mary Lou here. Today I have 5 decorative items that I am creating for Valentine's Day, and most of them use Dollar Tree items. We're using our Cricut, we're using scrap vinyl, and so we're going to get started with this particular little tray that I found at the Dollar Tree. And Anne likes to do hair and everything, and she has some bobby pins and clips and things, and so I thought maybe she could use this little tray to corral those items. So I just cut her name out of a pretty script that I found in Cricut Design Space. And what's weird is when I cut it out, it cut too much. It cut through the backer. And so I'm going to go ahead and just use my background, what do you call it, my transfer tape, and see if we can go ahead and do this anyway, even though it cut out really weirdly. So probably what I would need to do to fix this was a pretty cheap vinyl, and so a lot of times those cheaper vinyls, it cuts too deep, and so I would need to lessen the pressure before I go to cut when I'm in Cricut Design Space. But this should work just fine to get Anne's name off of that backer and onto that pretty little dish. So these 5 things, I'm a little bit late getting this video out. Things have been crazy at our house. As you know, I have been redoing my craft space and moving it upstairs, and it's pretty much done. I'm so excited about my new craft room. It's so great not to be running up and down the stairs all the time to get to my things in my craft room, and I'm just really loving it. And so I will be filming that craft space this week. It took me a lot longer than I thought. We had a little flood at our house where something happened in the wall with our pipes, and we had water shooting into the walls and down into the basement, and it was just a disaster. So that really slowed me down with getting my craft room done and filmed, but we're done now, and so I'll be excited to show that to you. So there is our little dollar store dish with Anne's name in it, and she loves pink, and I think she's going to love it. So our next project is this wood piece that Anne painted a few years ago in a little class that she had, and it's not a perfect paint job. That's fine, because this is Anne's, and what I wanted to do is just decorate this up, make it a little bit cuter, a little bit more fun, and then put something in that O where there's a little space for a picture or a cute design, and so that's what I'm going to do. So first, I'm going to use these hearts that I found in Cricut Design Space. I just sized them down. I think they're just a little over 1/2 inch a piece. And I'm just going to go through and just quickly put these hearts here and there all over, facing different directions, and just maybe cover up some of the funny spots in the paint job, and just make it a little bit cuter and more fun for Anne. And so I'm just using these hearts like a sticker. I'm not using transfer tape for these because they act just like a sticker. And I bent some of them over the edge and just put them all over. So now what I'm doing, I took an oval die that I had, and it didn't quite fit just right. There was actually a little bit of a gap showing on the edge. And so what I decided to do is to go ahead, and I want to put a real pretty little pink heart in the middle because Anne loves pink. And so I got my nesting heart dies and this real pretty glittery patterned cardstock. I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to use this piece of paper and just scribble over it and get an outline of that oval, and then just cut it out on my own. So as you can see, I'm scribbling, and it's kind of creating a line where I can see where that oval is. And then I'm going to cut that out, and then I'll cut it out of the other pink cardstock that I have. So I'm putting the the cardstock behind and just cutting it out and then checking to make sure that oval fits and that the heart will go in there and that it'll look just really nice. Now, the depth of that oval in the O, it's a lot deeper than what my cardstock is. And so when I first went to put it in, it kind of flopped around. So I'm getting some craft foam, and I tried one thickness of craft foam, and that still was a little too floppy. And so what I did is I just took the backing off of that one piece and stuck it onto the craft foam again and recut that out. So I have a double thickness of craft foam, and that was perfect and makes it so it fits right into the oval of the sign just perfectly, and it's thick enough that it doesn't flop around at all. So that's what I'm doing here, is just getting that thickness. I really like using craft foam and doubling it up, especially for things like shaker cards and those kinds of things. So I guess I ended up using 3 thicknesses of craft foam, and that actually was perfect. Sorry when my head gets into the shot. There's just no way to avoid it when you're crafting and you want to line things up. You've just got to get your head in the shot. I really love these scissors. These are Tim Holtz 9.5-inch scissors. I love those big, long blades. It makes cutting a straight line so much easier. So there we go. It fits in just right. And there's Anne's little love sign. And I actually gave it to her, and she thought it was so cute. Okay, the next project we're doing has to do with mandalas. And a couple of years ago, I was really into mandalas and actually made quite a few. And I just loved it. I loved how the different layers kind of stood up, and, you use foam tape between it, and they just have some texture and some dimension. And back then I showed how I have the one piece of decor that I just keep changing out. So this is the one I've had out for the winter, and I went ahead and picked a background that I thought would work for a lot of different holidays, and then I put on magnetic tape. So these just stick right on and they hold up, and then when I want to change one out, and this, let me show you this. This background paper, in fact, is also held down with magnets in case I wanted to change the background paper. But so far, I've kind of just liked the blue. It just kind of is neutral and works with so many things. And I have my magnet right there, so I can create decor. And then I just store these in a box, a file box, actually. Let me show you that. It's just a narrow file box that I got at the dollar store, and sometimes I wrap them, sometimes I don't, but usually what I do is just go ahead and put these in between some of those other ones. I really enjoy making the mandalas, but I also don't have to take up a lot of space for a whole bunch of decor. And so let me show you the mandala that we'll be making today. It's super easy. So I was able to find at the dollar store these red and white doilies. They're paper, and so they're they have some spots that might be a little wonky. And so I just went through and kind of trimmed them up and made them look nice. But that's how they start. And then what I did, I'll show you here, get all my things out. What I did is I took the back one and made sure that was trimmed up. Then I took a white one that was exactly like that, and I just went through and found where the pattern was that I wanted to keep. So you can see I cut off all of this on that white layer. And then the next layer was red, so then I cut off, you can see everything around here. And just to get the main red heart, so it's going to stack like this. And then after that one, I went through and just cut around all the dots to get the white layer. And then last of all, I really wanted a pink layer. So I got out my nested hearts and found a heart that would go it's a different shape, but that's okay because I thought it was pretty to go from this point to this point and just create that pretty shape. I will start by putting my magnet strip there first. Just bring in a good strong glue. There we go. Put that down. I'm gonna go ahead and put this under my my little project box. Now, the way we do these mandalas is we start, you always put the tape on the smaller piece. Like if I'm sticking this heart to this heart, I wouldn't put the tape on this heart. Always put the foam tape on your smaller piece. My magnetic tape is now well stuck down. So let's build this in layers. And so you see that I put the foam tape pretty much everywhere, but I didn't put it behind anything that has holes or gaps or, you know, pretty designs or anything. Push down, and then you can see that those layers starting to appear. And so we're going to just work that through. And it really helps to have a weeding tool to help peel off that backing on that foam tape. And then I went ahead and found an XO design in Cricut Design Space, just a simple one. And so I'm going to use my transfer tape and just pick that up and stick it right in the middle of that pink heart. And so just think about things like that as you're going through. Sometimes just adding a little bit of something with a small scrap of vinyl can just dress the thing up. So this is how the final mandala looks, and I'm just going to put it right in the middle of my board, and it just holds up there with the magnets. And look at that depth, that dimension. It's got those layers, and I just love how that looks. So there you go. So easy, so fun. So this next project, I got some felt at the dollar store, and I got a couple of pieces of pink, a couple of red, and I wanted to cut out some felt hearts and do some sort of squishy conversation hearts. And so I'm using my pink Cricut mat. Now this is the one that you use for fabric, but what I have found is the mat gets all kinds of threads and sticky things and bits of fabric, and so what I did, I put down a piece of transfer tape, a big huge thing, and you can see it in the grid behind there. And then I put the felt on top of that. Then I did my cutting out with my Cricut, and I just used hearts from Cricut Design Space. And you can see on here I goofed, and I didn't change the size of my base material. I should have changed it to an 8.5 by 11 or a 9 by 11 piece. I accidentally kept it at 12 by 12, but it's okay because it cut out the hearts beautifully. And when I pull these off, you can see that all the residue left from the felt sticks to the transfer tape and instead of to my my Cricut mat. And that those Cricut mats, when you're cutting fabric, they get messy really fast. And so I wanted to preserve the mat for a little bit longer, so that's why I did this. And now you can see me doing the pink hearts, but once it gets messy, you can just pull off that transfer tape and you're good to go again. Okay, so what I did is I cut out on my Cricut, I cut out some heat transfer vinyl, and then I am just ironing these on with my little mini heat tool. And this vinyl went on so easily and so quickly. And remember, I'm just using little scraps of vinyl. I didn't cut into any big pieces of vinyl for this particular project. And it just was a lot of fun to do, actually. And I realized how much I like that little Cricut heat tool. It's very handy. So let me show you how I finished up all of our hearts. I think they turned out so cute. I have my tin here that I have had for literally decades that has all of my embroidery things in it. And I've got some, needles and glasses and just all the things I need. So I just got 2 colors of embroidery thread, and I went ahead and used 3 strands to go all the way around. I just did a running stitch around, generally started here, came all the way around, stopped about here, stuffed it with batting, and then finished sewing it up and kept my knots on the inside. But I just think these turned out so cute. I just think those are going to be real pretty, sitting somewhere as just a decoration. I could go ahead and string these together and put them on our fireplace, which I thought of doing, but then I thought, I don't know, I just kind of like them just like this as just a bunch of fun decorations, and Anne is having fun going through and reading all of the words on them, and so that's been really fun. So there's that finished up. Okay, so this next project has a couple of things I want to show you. I've been wanting to do this project for a while, and I saw this on, someone's channel, a couple of years ago at Halloween time. They took a pumpkin shape and then just did stripes out of vinyl in Halloween colors. And I loved it and wanted to do it for Valentine's Day. And so I found this heart at the dollar store. It was in the $5 section, and I liked it because it was nice and thick and just good and heavy. I sanded it and then did 3 or 4 coats of paint because it had a little bit of an embossing and a burned wood look, and so it took about 4 coats of paint. It doesn't have to be perfect because most of it's getting covered up, but I wanted to show you what I'm going to do with this. Plus, I want to talk with you a little bit about how to make your own vinyl pattern, like I did here. This is printed vinyl, printable vinyl, and it was really fun to do, and so I just want to kind of go through and show you how I did that. So let's go ahead and start with the printable vinyl. So I got it in a pack like this, and I've had it for a couple of years. I got this from Expressions Vinyl. If I can find a link, I'll put it below. And there's kind of a plasticky feeling side and then a matte side. So one side is a little shinier and the other is matte. When you run it through your printer, I just use an inkjet printer. I put matte side down because my printer paper comes up like this so that it needs to print on the matte side. So your instructions with the printable vinyl will tell you what to do is you design your paper and then you print it. And then your next step is to apply laminate, because this it feels like paper, but you want it to have that sort of glossy laminated feel. And so this kit came with these laminating pages. So I'm going to show you how I did this to get the whole thing covered. The clear is what's sticky. That is just, the carrier sheet. So what I did is I folded that back because you want this to cover this whole sheet. And then I just kind of lined it up in the corner like that. And you want to use your scraper tool and get it down really nice and flat. And then you can just go ahead and keep pulling back and laying it down. And now even see, I've gotten a little bit of some bubbles there, but if you push them to the side, they'll come right out, and you just keep going until you have that paper covered. So there, it's ready. Okay, so when I had my heart ready and I sanded between coats of paint, tried to make it nice and smooth, I picked out 3 papers that I really liked that had sort of a Valentine feel, and these are the 3 I picked. And then I just took them to my paper cutter, and I just cut a bunch of strips of each one. These strips are about 3/4 of an inch wide. I wasn't too worried about them being very exactly the same. I just cut them the way I thought looked good with the pattern that was on them. And then my next, see how this one's a little wider? I don't care. That's kind of how I was liking it. And then what I'm going to do is just lay these out, and I'm going to repeat the pattern. I'm probably going to need to use this bit here. I'm not going to worry about using transfer paper or anything like that. And so I'm going to treat it kind of like as if this was a sticker. And then I'm just going to go through and pull these off and go ahead and get them stuck down. I am loving that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is flip this over, and I'm going to bring in my Cricut knife cutter and just trim all of this off. All right, there we go. So you did see that, especially on these smaller pieces, I needed to go and just do a little bit of trim up. But I love this. I love how pretty it is. I love that it's just a lot of different colors. I think I'll probably set it on something on a side like that. But I just think that is so pretty and real festive for Valentine's Day. And so easy, so easy. And if you don't have all of the colors you want, consider using some printable vinyl and creating your own vinyl. Okay, so here's the 5 projects that we did today with items from the dollar store. And so we have our little dish with Anne's name in it that she can use for her hair things. We've got our Valentine mandala using the paper doilies. We have our striped heart. I think this is my favorite one. I just love the colors. The heart is from the dollar store. We made our own printed vinyl and then used some other vinyls that we had. Love that. Then we have our little sweet pea little conversation hearts. And I put them just in this white dish for display. And then we've got our love sign that we've added some pretty hearts to and some decorative things in the center. And so I hope you enjoy those and that they'll give you some ideas for your own Valentine's Day things. And remember, people matter more than things, and we'll see you next time.